She's become Donald Trump's nemesis and a big factor in the New York City mayor's race. Attorney General Letitia James is here. The Point starts right now. From the city council to public advocate to her role as the state's chief lawyer, Attorney General Letitia James has made a career of battling for what she thinks is right. So we're now going to talk to you about all of that stuff, but I'd like to start talking about the mayor's race.
Yeah.
You did not endorse in the 2021 election, but you have taken a very active role in this election, first endorsing Adrian Adams in the primary, and now Zohran Mamdani. Why the activity?
So during the primary, I endorsed Adrian Adams because I thought, given her experience as the leader of the city council, the fact that she has been able to organize the 51 members of the city council, the most diverse body in this country, I thought she would be an excellent candidate for mayor of the city of New York. She was not successful. And then I went on to endorse Assembly Member Zohran Mamdani. And the reason why is because of his focus on affordability, an issue that, as you know, all throughout my career, I've been focusing on the displacement of individuals, the crisis in affordable housing, individuals who unfortunately cannot afford items at their grocery store, individuals who complain to me each and every day about childcare. And we're just losing a generation of individuals here in the city of New York. They're moving outside of New York City to other states because they cannot buy a home. Some individuals are reconsidering whether or not they should even marry, whether or not they should have children. And it's all because of the cost of this great city. And we've got to do all that we can do. We need to join hands with the federal government, with the state legislature and the city council and the next mayor of the city of New York, Zohran Mamdani, to address the issue of affordability, and particularly those who are low income, who are struggling right now.
I guess I'd have to ask you where the money is going to come from. You know, I mean, you have next year, everybody's going to be up in the state for re-election, yourself included, and the governor. It's hard to raise taxes when the governor is going to be running for re-election. So how do we find the money to do all of this?
No, it's a good question. And I think, obviously, one, let's just focus on the amount of money that we pay for a lot of these consultants. As you know, as a member of the city council, I uncovered the largest scandal in the city of New York called City Time, where we uncovered $500 million as a result of one consultant who had engaged in fraudulent billing to the city of New York. And as the chair of the contracts committee at that time, we uncovered that scandal. I believe that there are others. And I believe that obviously what we need to do is work with the city council and the state legislature to focus on all of the consultants that the city hires, that the state hires, who are engaged in overbilling to the state government as well as to the city council.
So I guess I have to ask you this question. Why do we need all these consultants? I mean...
That's a good question. And particularly the Department of Education.
And we're talking billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. Let's begin and let's look at each and every agency, state agencies and city agencies, and look at all of the cost to taxpayers and to determine whether or not, in fact, they're engaging in overbilling to New Yorkers. Let's start there first. I think we really need to do an analysis. You want to talk about fraud, you want to talk about overbilling. All of these things obviously affect our ability to address the issue of affordability in the city of New York and in the state.
You know, I've often wondered, Mr. Mamdani ran a very good primary campaign, very smart campaign. But I've also wondered, people have raised issues about his police plans and about his support for Israel. But I wonder if the reason why people were attracted to him, besides the affordability issue and the fact that he has ideas where he thinks out of the box, is because of the steady drip of corruption in the Adams administration. And he appeared to be like a shiny penny, a new person that didn't appear to have any corruption in his past.
Well, I've spoken to a number of individuals all throughout the city of New York, and their number one issue was affordability. And he really spoke to that issue. And of course, he provides hope and inspiration to countless generations. And I've not seen this since the last candidate who ran for president of these United States inspired individuals to believe in politics, to recognize that there are some good and wonderful individuals, and that public service is a rewarding career, and that more individuals should enter this career. I decided to enter this career almost 20 some odd years ago is because I wanted to make a difference in the lives of others, and particularly in those who have been historically ignored and those who are not at the who did not have a seat at the table of power. And that's what I believe that Zohran Mamdani is focusing on as he runs for the highest office in the city of New York. And I would argue the second hardest job in this country, second to the president of these United States.
So I just wonder, though, how much his political concern about the police is going to hurt him in terms of governing the city should he win. You know, he has to have the police supporting him. He's just announced he's going to apologize for, in the past, saying that they were racist. But doesn't he have to get the police behind him if he's going to deal with one of the major issues in the city, which is public safety?
No, you're absolutely right. And one of the issues that I have been focusing on, and I've been speaking to him a lot about mental illness, significant number of individuals that where we have to do reports and we have to investigate in police interactions with members of the public that result in the death of civilians. You know, we have to investigate, and oftentimes I have to look at video footage, and it's very difficult when you witness individuals in the throes of mental illness. And oftentimes individuals or police officers are ill-equipped and don't have the tools and don't have the training to deal with individuals who are emotionally disturbed. And so his recommendation and his policy recommendation with regards to creating a separate agency, I think is a good idea, and is something that I have supported and recommend. In addition to that, I believe that continuing to have conversations with members of the police force are obviously key to public safety, and last but not least, having a wonderful leader. And that's why I've been recommending to him that we should keep Jessica Tisch as our police commissioner here in the city of New York. I've worked with her over the years on ShotSpotter, on technology, on body-worn cameras, on a wide range of issues, and she's been a great leader. And I urge him to keep Jessica Tisch as our police commissioner.
I want to talk to you about the shooting this past week of Charlie Kirk, the assassination, and the political violence that we see in this country. And I wonder, you know, even as an elected official yourself, are there worries about your own safety and what it means to be in elected office given the amount of violence we've seen across the country?
So first to the Kirk family, Charlie Kirk's family, to his wife Erica, and to their children who witnessed this horrific murder. My thoughts and my prayers go out to them as a woman of faith. The human tragedy of it all, and to have thousands of college students and individuals witness this, and this video that has gone viral, it really speaks to political violence, and violence, all types of violence, political violence, and all other at all, should not be a tool in a democratic society. And what we've got to get back to, Marcia, is talking to individuals who you disagree with and coming to.
But how do we do that? I mean, there seems to be a thing where people only want to talk about their views. They don't want to hear the other side.
No, we're very polarized at this point in time. And what leaders need to do is speak to our commonality, speak to our humanity, and speak to the fact that we're all in this together. And if we can talk about those commonalities, and if we could focus on issues that matter to all of us, such as affordability, such as housing, such as childcare, such as education. I think all of us want to make sure that we can raise children in a society where they can go to school each and every day and not be harmed. I think all of us want to go to a grocery store and want to shop for eggs and groceries that are not, excessive. I think all of us want to live in an apartment or purchase a home where we don't have to, all of our salary is used for that purpose. I think that's what all of us want. And if we can talk to each and every one of our neighbors and individuals who we disagree and come to some sort of agreement, we will all be in a better place. But it needs to start at the top. And all of us need to refrain from this, these hostile and using words that just alarm individuals and bring individuals together in a peaceful manner. That's what we really need to do. And that's what I try to do each and every day as a woman of faith.
And that we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back with more from our panel of political experts. We are back with Attorney General Tish James, who has spent a lot of time suing the President of the United States. She just told me we're up to 32 suits. But I also want to talk to you about the fact that he's not happy with the fact that you've been suing him and has his Justice Department bring 2 actions against you, 2 grand jury investigations. I'd like to talk to you about the weaponization of the Justice Department and what's going on and how you feel about the fact that he's now made you one of his enemies.
So let me just say that I'm not suing the president. I'm standing up for New Yorkers. New Yorkers, whenever you harm New Yorkers, whenever you impact the policy, whenever you take away someone's Medicaid, off their food stamps, whenever you engage in mass deportation, whenever you affect Head Start and 9/11 healthcare funds, whenever you impact our law enforcement officers, you've got to come past the chief law enforcement officer in the state of New York, and her name is Letitia James. So I use the law. I use the law to stand up and to protect the laws here in the state of New York and to protect the interests and the rights of New Yorkers. 2, I'm on his enemies list, partly because we brought a case against him after a 2-year investigation following a congressional hearing.
A civil case that went to the way he collected taxes and paid taxes.
Correct. And the First Department just recently, as you know, upheld our finding that he had engaged in fraud. The fine of almost $500 million, that is the only part of the litigation.
They said it was excessive.
They said it was excessive in violation of the Constitution, and that's the only aspect of the litigation that they rejected. And we've appealed, and so has he. He was the first one to file a notice of appeal, and we also filed a notice of appeal, and that case is now headed to the Court of Appeals of the state of New York, the highest court in the land. And then, as you know, he issued 2 subpoenas against our office. One in regards to the NRA, again, another case where we were successful in getting a judgment against the NRA, which is a not-for-profit formed in the state of New York, and they were engaging also in misappropriation of funds, using it for their own personal benefit. And 2, the other case was the civil case. So there's 2 subpoenas that they issued against us, and we're seeking to quash those subpoenas, and we've hired outside counsel. And then, of course, he's announced this investigation into my alleged mortgage fraud. And as you know, in order to engage in mortgage fraud, you need intent, and there was no mortgage fraud on behalf of myself or any other individual. Mortgage fraud is a rare type of investigation and indictment, and the facts do not substantiate it. At the end of the day, we all know that the mortgage fraud is baseless, and it's nothing more than an attempt to engage in retribution against all the actions that I've taken against Donald Trump and this administration.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, you know, he has gone after you publicly, as well as having his Justice Department file suit against you. That must be, I mean, do you find that it has a chilling effect on what you do, but you keep suing the federal government anyway?
Well, listen, you know, I believe that faith and fear cannot share the same space, and I've got a job to do. And I take my job each and every day, and I cannot be paralyzed by fear. I've got to wake up each and every day and represent the interests of the residents of the great state of New York. And so I continue to do what I have to do, and that is defend the rights of individuals, defend the laws in the state of New York, and protect particularly the vulnerable and the marginalized. But the vast majority of my work, Marcia, believe it or not, has nothing to do with Donald Trump and or this administration. It has to do with consumer fraud, protecting seniors in nursing homes. It has to do with deed theft. It has to do with individuals who are victims of misclassification and wage theft. It has to do with going after individuals who sell fentanyl and opioids and dangerous drugs on our streets, and going after individuals who engage in illegal gun trafficking. That's where I spend the vast majority of my time as the Attorney General of the state of New York, and only a small portion, again, responding and defending the rights of New Yorkers against these executive orders, these illegal, unlawful executive orders issued by this administration.
See, the thing that I've always wondered about is this. I mean, you have joined in a lot of suits with a lot of other states, mostly
Correct.
blue states. But the question becomes, what happens a lot of times is you've prevailed in a number of suits that have already been gone through the lower level courts, but
Correct.
he has the ability to go to the Supreme Court, which is a whole other animal. And he has, obviously appointed a lot of people on the Supreme Court that are more of a conservative bent. Are you afraid that the victories that you've had in the lower courts are going to be overturned if they go to the Supreme Court?
We've won, for instance, in regards to the Department of Education, where he issued an executive order and basically wanted to seize some education funds for our schools. We were successful in that case, and those funds were released. We were successful in the AmeriCorps case, where individuals who volunteer not only in this nation, but internationally, that we won that case, and AmeriCorps funds, and that program has continued. Birthright citizenship, that case, as you know, had more to do with the relief that we were seeking, nationwide injunctions. And we are confident at the end of the day, we will not have this hodgepodge, this patchwork of a system where individuals in some states will not be recognized as citizens and others will. That is totally unworkable, and we are confident that we will be successful. And we are confident at the end of the day that the United States Constitution will be respected by the United States Supreme Court, and that our laws here in the state of New York will be upheld. And we will protect the rights and the interests of the state of New York. We are a sovereign state, and he has to respect our rights. And that's really critically important. And when individuals are harmed, you've got to stand up and protect them. And that's what I do for New Yorkers. And we will not bow, we will not bend, we will not capitulate to the President of the United States, particularly when you put New Yorkers, when you impact the rights of New Yorkers.
I've also wondered, given the fact that there have been a lot of suits filed, if you're going to continue to do it, and also are there going to be other instances like, the ICE agents and the things with immigration that you're going to be forced to join in more suits coming up?
So Governor Hochul has indicated, has had conversations with the president in this administration, and I'm confident in the leadership of Governor Hochul. I'm also confident in the leadership of the Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who has also reached out to the president and to the administration and the Department of Justice. But most importantly, what I have faith in is NYPD. I back the blue. And at this point in time, crime is going north, it's going south. It's going down, the downward trends. And so we're seeing less crime all throughout the city of New York. And it's because our police department, which is the greatest police department in this nation. And that's why we believe at the end of the day, we do not need support. We do not need the National Guard. We don't need the military. We do not need civilians, obviously, to be patrolled by any of those forces. It's really critically important. NYPD has got it. They're handling it, and we salute them and we support them.
One of the things that I'm curious about, given what happened with Charlie Kirk, the officials out in Utah blamed to some extent social media. I know you've been very active in terms of the effect that social media can have on especially young people.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you think that social media played a factor. I mean, one of the officials out there said social media is a cancer. Do you think that that's added to the political violence? And is there something that we in New York need to be doing to prevent that?
So social media, as you know, we have taken action against some social media platforms. Again, because countless number of children, unfortunately, have been impacted by social media. And so I'm glad that the governor of the state of New York is banning social media, phones in schools. I support that. Our office was involved in pushing that through the state legislature. And we were also have taken action, and we have reached out to social media platforms with respect to violence on social media platforms. As you know, we took action following the assassination of 10 individuals in Buffalo as a result of an individual who was weaponized by social media. It's really critically important that social media take some responsibility with regards to their platform, and that they continue to monitor it, and that they continue to engage in supervising all that is placed on social media. Unfortunately, our laws in our country immunize immunize the social platforms, so we cannot sue them directly, and it's unfortunate. And I would urge Congress to take a look at Section 230 in particular, and hold them liable, obviously, for the actions when individuals, are weaponized and are impacted by social media. I hope that they would join with us and take a more active role, as opposed to this hands-off approach that they are taking and basically hiding behind Section 230, saying that we are not subject to any litigation or not liable for all that is on our social media platforms.
So
it's unacceptable.
I have one last thing I'd like to talk to you about, and that has to do with the gerrymandering that we've seen around the country, especially Texas, changing the law so they can redistrict mid-census so they can have more Republican seats. It comes to, you're the chief law enforcement officer in New York, and now New York is looking at ways that we can change our laws, our Constitution, so that we could join in the battle. But of course, we can't right away because of the Constitution. Do you think our Constitution should be changed so that we could, compete with the movement across the country to try to get more people of our party?
So as a law enforcement officer, obviously, who will have some decision making, who will be reviewing, I can't say much.
I totally get that. All right, thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for all that you do.
And thank you for joining me at home as well.